Greetings once again. I am your host, the Wolf of the Forest, and you have arrived at High Strangeness. Welcome. And on the channel, we'll be covering everything from cryptocurrencies to cryptid creatures, from survivalism to tribalism. Doing videos and podcasting since about yesterday. Come along for the journey. Okay, it is working. Greetings and welcome back to the channel. I am your host, the Wolf of the Forest, and this is High Strangeness. You have arrived. So, with some of the crazy stuff coming out on the horizon here, we're looking at things like the Neuralink, kind of like a bit like a smart device, about the proportions of this smartwatch here actually being woven into the neurons of your brain, which is pretty cool, I suppose, as the first technology here. But one thing I wanted to kind of get into a little bit was the technology behind cryptocurrency, and the current shift is known as the blockchain. And the way cryptocurrency, the way that application of the blockchain works, for example, is that it's a bit like an open ledger, and everyone has access to it, and the log is available globally. And the way it is sort of checked and balanced, the way that it's decentralized and that the information is verified, is that all of the other accounts have to agree, so to speak, on that information before it is then locked in. But once it is just that, locked in. And there's a lot of discussion on which way this can go, because financially, for example, a lot of people believe that it should actually be most of the way it is now as it exists, except for a private version, which of course, opens up all sorts of criminal issues and activities and concerns. But some people would argue that it's somewhat of a necessary evil, something that kind of comes with the territory. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because classic literature regarding these kind of science fiction topics, ranging from Philip K. Dick to Isaac Asimov, and even recent shows, like I believe it was the Altered Carbon or something along that line, where you could effectively log, record in detail your sum of life experience, if you were, and you could then download and upload into a different body at your will, at your choosing, all of your memories. And so that's been kind of mulled over for any time now that people have even considered these technologies to be even viable or feasible in an even far-flung future. But what got me thinking in regards to the blockchain and the overlap with what I was just discussing is a bit of all information and quantifications and data of everything, really, oddly enough, as it were, can be recorded in the blockchain, and it's almost a bit like thinking of assets for a video game or something like a program, wherein all of the digitized representation of anything that gets logged in the blockchain is almost kind of like much in the way that your memory card or memory backup would be your self backup. It would stand within reason that when certain degrees and levels of computation and storage are achieved, I can't remember, is it Moore's law? It's not Occam's razor. There's a principle that states that data and computation essentially doubles pretty regularly. Like I think it's almost annually or something crazy like that. And that's obviously not quite spot on. I'll have to brush up my references on that one because that may have been more true at a certain point, but I think it's on average more or less true, because while there may be lulls, then the leaps and bounds are so rapid in succession within less than a decade. Look at the advent of the smartphone and how a computer, within a lifetime ago, a computer used to fill a room. So what I'm getting at is that as these devices and technologies and methods of logging data become more efficient and probable, like I said, it stands within reason that something like the blockchain can essentially be a backup for all reality, and maybe obviously that's a bit ambitious and extreme, but at least while the technology is still being invented really and discovered what the applications potentially could be, it will at least serve as backups for an individual nation, or at least a corporation at first. The more individual and focused the storage or backup is, then the more feasible it is logically. But as that becomes a trend, and as people discover that is the difference between recovering or not from something like the economic situation we're all in now, that's one of the things that got me really thinking about it, is you see the beginnings of what could be a pretty devastating collapse beginning right now. And one could only imagine, were there to be even more elements in play, how crucial it would be to have some method of a failsafe or a backup. So I definitely see things heading that direction in the future here, and I will be attempting to write some sort of kind of a blend of nonfiction and fiction, where I'm working on a story that is entertaining but serves more as a vehicle to kind of explore some of these very pivotal shifts in what many are calling the fourth industrial revolution, in which every invention or shift, such as steam engines and going away from the horse and making that obsolete, every shift has been a technology or a thing that made life easier, or hard work less hard, or not necessary at all in some cases, or it was a more efficient mode of travel. Now, what people are saying with the fourth industrial revolution is that it will be the revolution that changes us, that changes everything, that changes the corporeal form that we come to know our own bodies and the world we live in and interact with. So I'll be working on that, and hopefully I can get somebody to help the process along, because I've never penned a novel or anything like that before, and I've never created videos before either. So this is all kind of new to me and a bit of an uncharted territory. So I welcome you to come along the journey as we explore all of these topics and try to figure out just how crazy the future is going to be. But we'll all have to get a little crazy just to get through it. But good evening. Now, we're living through a pretty strange time where civilizations, and perhaps even civilization itself, is at risk of collapsing, while simultaneously we're privatizing space travel and reaching for the stars, and through the same people that brought you that privatization of space, potentially looking at shades of immortality while everything burns, apparently. So I welcome you to come along the journey and see if we can make any sense of all this madness. Good evening and good luck.